Sofia Mckenna, 21, grew up in North Stonington, Connecticut with 2 siblings. Her parents were divorced and she lived with her mother, Michelle Mckenna. Her parents' divorce took a toll on her mental health, and she was diagnosed with bipolar depression when she was in high school. She had a boyfriend named Austin Pero Cordova. The relationship, according to her mother, was an abusive one. Both used to argue a lot, which sometimes turned physical. Austin apparently was seeing someone else, which of course made Sofia mad. One day, Sofia was to meet Austin, but told her mother that she was going out with some other guy and not with Austin. When Austin found out about it, he apparently became incredibly angry and went to Sofia's apartment. When Sofia wouldn't open the apartment door to let him in, he tried to kick her apartment door down and threatened to kill her. According to the police report, his exact words were, "I'll slit your throat." Meanwhile, Sofia began increasing the time she spent with one Spencer Mugford, 20, who grew up in Florida and had attended school at the University of Connecticut's Avery Point campus, located in Groton, Connecticut. Spencer and Sofia were close friends and hung out together many times. They became friends while working at the Red Door Salon and Spa, an upscale day spa located in Mystic Marriott Hotel in Groton, Connecticut. They would eventually start dating, but would break it off and decide to simply remain friends. Spencer had recently begun working at a local fishing charter where he took small groups of people out on the water for half-day fishing trips. Spencer grew up on the water and was a strong swimmer. On May 27, 2018, in the early morning hours around 1 a.m., Sofia and Spencer decided to go on a night trip to New London Ledge Lighthouse off the coast of Groton, Connecticut. Sofia had apparently received permission from Austin to go out with Spencer on the trip. Sofia and Spencer parked her car at the University of Connecticut Avery Point campus. They then used one of the university's sailboats, a white 14-foot sunfish without a mast, and paddled their way to the lighthouse. The lighthouse is rumored to be haunted, and this may have encouraged their decision to visit it at night. The story goes that in the 1920s or 1930s, the keeper of the lighthouse, a man named John Randolph, was so distraught that his wife had run off with the local ferry captain that he jumped from the roof to his death. No records have been discovered to confirm or deny this, yet it's believed that his spirit still haunts the lighthouse. Since then, many have reported strange phenomenon at the lighthouse, like doors opening and closing by themselves, unexplained knockings, bed sheets flying off of beds, cups moving around, boats unmooring themselves, TVs and radios turning on and off, the foghorn spontaneously sounding on its own, and other unexplained happenings. On that night, the temperature was below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. While out on the water, Sofia used Spencer's phone to post a video to his Snapchat. The video was of Sofia and Spencer out in the ocean. Spencer can be seen sitting on the bow of a small, mastless sailboat paddling. Sofia pans the camera around to show the lights on the coastline behind them. A few minutes later, at 2 a.m., a photo was posted on Spencer's account. The photo that was uploaded was a picture of Sofia at the lighthouse. She was happy and had her tongue out with a big smile. From the picture, it appears she is standing on the stairs that go from a 2-foot-wide lower ledge to the much wider upper platform right in front of a no trespassing sign in the lighthouse. This means that they made it out to the lighthouse. But what happened to them after that is a mystery. The next day, Spencer had a very important event to attend that he would not have missed. When he did not show up for the event and his family and friends couldn't reach him, he was reported missing. Meanwhile, Austin reached out to Sofia's mother and told her he was worried about Sofia as he hadn't been able to get in touch with her. Michelle had let her younger daughter play with her phone that morning. When Michelle got her phone from her to call the police, she noticed there were 7 missed calls from an unknown number. The calls came back to back. The first missed call was from 2:05 a.m., and then 2:06 a.m., and then 2:07 a.m. Then there were 3 missed calls at 2:08 a.m., and the last missed call came in at 2:09. None of the missed calls resulted in a voicemail. Sofia's mom later stated that she was sleeping and missed the calls. She tried calling the number back, but it went to voicemail. The voicemail said, "You've reached Spencer's cell phone. Please leave a message." As Spencer didn't know her number, she knew it had to be Sofia trying to reach her. Realizing something had gone horribly wrong, she immediately contacted police and reported her missing. The U.S. Coast Guard began their search for the young adults at approximately 6 p.m. that evening. Michelle desperately tried to get anyone she could involved in the search, but the Coast Guard advised against that due to harsh weather conditions. Sofia's car would be found parked on the campus with her cell phone still inside. This would explain why she was using Spencer's phone to Snapchat and to call her mother. At approximately 6:30 p.m. on May 27th, the shirt Spencer had been wearing in the Snapchat photo was found tied to a cleat at the New London Ledge Lighthouse. It's believed that Spencer used his shirt to dock the boat at the lighthouse. The following day, on May 28th, Austin and his father decided to go on their own to search for Sofia and Spencer. While flying in a private plane, they spotted a sailboat similar to the one Sofia and Spencer had piloted. It was a small 14-foot sunfish sailboat that was laying upside down on the Truman Beach in New York, approximately 8 miles east of the lighthouse. Police believed it was the boat used by Sofia and Spencer. However, this has never been confirmed as 100% accurate because they reported the pair was on a paddleboard. They claimed that the broken paddle was inside the upside-down boat. The boat was described to have growth in the hull and partially was buried in the dirt and rock, with a light layer of dust and dirt, which would have been impossible unless the boat had been there for many days and not for the only 24 hours it was supposed to have been. Also, pictures that were taken of the boat as evidence showed unidentified fingerprints on the boat, but no fingerprints were taken to be analyzed. The Coast Guard would suspend their search on the night of May 28th due to rough seas. They told the family that they searched everywhere they could and cannot resume the search unless something is found to steer searchers in a different direction. On June 8, 2018, 11 days after the disappearance, the body of Spencer Mugford was found by a commercial fisherman floating shoeless in the ocean, nearly 2.5 miles from Ledge Lighthouse in the opposite direction from where the boat was found. The boat went one way and Spencer went the other way. His cause of death was determined to be drowning. Although Spencer was now found, they did not resume the search for Sofia. In addition to Spencer and Sofia going missing, 2 other men had gone missing that same day, although it is not specified at what time they went missing. Their bodies would eventually be found as well, but Sofia's never would be. Although there was no body and no indication that she drowned, police believe she is not missing but already dead. The family does not know if Sofia called anyone else that night to ask for help. Spencer's cell phone has not been found and his cell phone records have not been released. So far, no witnesses have stepped forward. It is unknown if the 2 were followed or had someone else with them that night. The security cameras at the college and the lighthouse were reported to be merely decoy cameras. There is no video evidence available at this time. On July 22, 2018, Finding Sofia Mckenna, What Happened to Sofia Facebook group was formed to find answers to some of the questions that people have been wondering, such as, why was the search ended so quickly when other searches go on for many days? Where is Spencer's phone, and why have they not checked all of the phone records of Spencer, knowing that his was the last phone to be in Sofia's possession? And most of all, why were the fingerprints from the boat never analyzed? These are just a few questions that still linger in people's minds. Now, after reading all the facts about this case, we came up with this likely possibility, and it seems we're not the only ones. Many other Redditors have picked up on it as well. So here's what we believe might have happened that night. On that night, after leaving their car at the campus, Sofia and Spencer took the boat and paddled their way to the lighthouse. After using his shirt to moor the boat to the lighthouse, both went into the lighthouse and took the Snapchat photo of Sofia. Shortly after, the boat came loose, and started drifting away from the lighthouse. Since the boat was their only way off the lighthouse, Spencer, who was a strong swimmer, gave his phone to Sofia and jumped into the water to get the boat back to the lighthouse. At that time of night, the water must have been really cold, and since Spencer had already paddled their way to the lighthouse, he must have been extremely tired and exhausted. He probably started struggling in the water and drowned. After a few minutes, Sofia becomes worried and starts calling out to him. When she doesn't hear anything, she begins to panic. Now, since they had stolen a boat and were already trespassing, she might have thought against calling 911. It is also worth noting that Spencer had been charged with the DUI 5 days prior, and Sofia had been arrested in February for breach of peace and assault along with Austin, so she wouldn't want to get in trouble with the police again. So she instead decides to call her mother for help, but all her calls go unanswered. Now frantic, Sofia starts calling out for Spencer again, kneeling near the edge of the water. At some point, it's possible she may have slipped and fallen into the water. The current may have been too strong for her, and she too would have drowned. Sofia was not a strong swimmer, so it's within reason to think that she wouldn't have jumped after Spencer willingly. Moreover, if she did decide to jump after Spencer, she would have wanted to leave Spencer's phone behind in the lighthouse to make sure the phone doesn't get water damage, and so she could call someone after. But the phone was never found in the lighthouse. Of course, this is just a theory, and there's a possibility that foul play is involved. Usually, the dark of night at 2 a.m. is not a busy time on the water, but it was the beginning of Memorial Day weekend, and for many boaters, it is the time of celebration, so many people were out on the water. Is it possible that someone found them? Or while Sofia was screaming for Spencer, that someone found her and took her? Sofia's family continued to hold out hope that Sofia is alive and perhaps being held against her will. There have been no leads since then, and the case remains unsolved.